So today we're taking over the Yankees following their loss in the World Series to the Dodgers. And the final game really came down to two mistakes by the Yankees. Judge just dropping a line drive and Garrett Cole not covering first base with two outs. Obviously, throughout the playoffs, the regular season, and of course the World Series, there were multiple blunders by the Yankees and some holes were exposed within this team. And I definitely think we're going to see some sort of shakeup with the lineup, maybe even a manager, even though I'm seeing rumors that Aaron Boone is sticking around. But for this rebuild, we're not letting that happen. I'm coming in, I'm taking over. Let's go win the Yankees a World Series. So I think a lot of Yankees fans want this to be the first order of business, and this is what we're going to do. Aaron Boone, you're fired. So heading into the new season, this is kind of what I'm thinking before we even get into free agency. I don't know about Oswaldo Cabrera being our leadoff hitter, but Cabrera, Soto, Judge, Chisholm, or Jazz Chisholm Jr., we got Stanton, Ben Rice at first, Volpe, Austin Wells, and Jason Dominguez. That's right. I'm giving Jason Dominguez that left field position. I know fielding's been a little bit of a question mark with him, and I don't understand why the Yankees really haven't gone to him at any point during the World Series or the postseason. Didn't really understand that move. But here we are. I'm giving him the keys to left field. Pitching rotation's basically set. I think the question mark is like, what do they do with Nestor in arbitration? But Stroman's got one more year on his deal. Obviously some question marks about the pitching in the bullpen, especially Clay Holmes. He's a free agent. What's going to happen? From what I saw, I think Luke Weaver has a $2 million team option, so I'm assuming the Yankees are picking that up. And then I know Anthony Rizzo has a club option, or he has a buyout actually. I think it's for like 5 or 6 mil, so I'm definitely going to get rid of this contract. Exclusive negotiations, this is what I'm looking at. Soto, max deal. I'm keeping him in the pinstripes. Luke Weaver, like I said, he does have a club option, but it wasn't in the game already. So I do have to overpay for this season, but I do want to bring him back for another 2 seasons, 13 mil in total. Clay Holmes, like I said, it is a question mark. I am going to offer him a 1-year deal. I feel like, you know what? Let's take him out of that closer role. Let's give him an offseason to reset. Let's bring him back to the bullpen. And then Tommy Kahnle for some depth. We're going to bring him back. If we take a look at the other options, we've got Verdugo, Glaber, sorry, bud, gotta go, Chasen Shreve, and Tim Hill. So those are the guys that are not getting contracts. So the only way that I can kind of emulate this buyout that the Yankees have with Rizzo is I'm going to trade for the Rangers' Robbie Grossman, who has a $5 million contract in the game. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to release Robbie Grossman, so I do take that $5 million hit. Essentially, it's like a buyout, but we do get rid of Rizzo's contract in some way. If the Rangers want to release him, go ahead and do it, but we definitely need a new first baseman. And then we're releasing Robbie Grossman. We're only going to be required to pay 3.75, which I'm okay with. Sure, why not? It sucks that Rizzo, like basically since the head injury, hasn't been the same. So yeah. And then the other move that I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of DJ LePiu off the team, and we're going to send him back to the Rockies, where it all kind of started from him. I know he was a Cubs pick to start with, but they traded him to the Rockies, so there he is, off to Colorado. And then really quickly, the draft picks that we had, we have Dan Reed here, 59 overall. He was our last pick. Seth Michaelis was our second to last pick, reliever, and I think this kind of tells you how bad this draft was if I'm choosing relievers. Rob Berry was our third pick, rocking the stash, actually pretty good at 66 overall for a third rounder. The second rounder was Vladimir Fabregas, a third baseman out of Tennessee. What a name, but you know what? Looks pretty good for a third baseman. And then Cash Orr was our number 1 pick late in the first round. Looks decent for a pitcher. So prior to arbitration and tendered contracts, I only have 73 mil in the bank, which isn't a lot of money. I know the Yankees would be willing to go over the tax threshold, which I guess I could do if I really wanted to, but let's see what happens. I'm not going to go too crazy because I do have a lot of faith in the team that we already have. First baseman, I wouldn't mind trying to go after Christian Walker. I think that would be a huge upgrade at first base. He's not regressing yet. It would probably be a 1 or 2 year deal, but I think this guy would absolutely mash. But I'd really like to add just a really strong rotation arm, because if I'm looking at the team, not the craziest talent down here. Like, we do got a couple guys, but at the same time, there isn't anybody that's like really close to being MLB ready. So if I can throw someone in the mix here, that'd be kind of good, but it really just depends on how much money we have. All right, so let's start the first official season with these Yankees. Like I said, pitching rotation was going to be difficult unless I could find the money to do it, and sadly, I couldn't offer Corbin Burns or Jack Flaherty a top contract that they were looking for. So we're rocking with the same rotation. Clark Schmidt being that long reliever. Really the only change was Tanner Scott was on a pretty cheap contract, 4.5 or 4 mil, Actually, I'll take that even better. So yeah, I needed a lefty. He was the guy I picked up. And then I said I was going to do it. Christian Walker was our big addition this offseason, 12.5 mil for 2 seasons. I have faith that I can get 2 seasons out of him, even though he's already regressing and we haven't even started the season. But after 30 home runs last year, I felt like this was a good first base upgrade over Rizzo. And then as you can see, Jason Dominguez in left, and then that's basically the team. Couple new additions on the bench, but nothing too crazy. Our top 10 prospects currently look like this: some good, some bad, some iffy. I wouldn't say bad, actually. I would just say some that probably aren't going to feature, but we do have Spencer Jones here, Vladimir Fabregas, who we drafted, Cash Orr, who we drafted, Jason Dominguez, who is currently the number 2 prospect in all of baseball, behind Liam Hopp, who the Royals just drafted. So that's it. We're ranked 3rd. Let's get through this first season. End of the season, as you can see on the left side, we have the number 1 seed in the postseason. We finished with a record of 102-60. We're currently ranked the 3rd best team in baseball, but looking at the rest of the records, you can see Padres and Dodgers are pretty good. They won 100 games. The Phillies won 100 games as well. So NL, pretty competitive. League leaders, Garrett Cole had the most wins, Luke Weaver had the most saves, and Garrett Cole had the most WAR. And if you take a look at batting average, Juan Soto led the league there. We had a reliever of the year in Luke Weaver. We also had the Cy Young for Garrett Cole and AL Rookie of the Year for Jason Dominguez, which actually surprises me, and you'll see why. But then batting title for Juan Soto. Kyle Tucker ended up winning MVP over Royce Lewis and Brent Rooker. Shohei won it on the other side. Spencer Strider was the Cy Young winner. Obviously, we saw that Garrett Cole won it for us. Juan Soto and Contreras of the Brewers was the batting title winner. Jeff Hoffman, reliever of the year. I should have went for him. He was on my list of players that I wanted to acquire. I could definitely afford it, and I decided to go with the first baseman instead. But Luke Weaver was reliever of the year for us, so I mean, I don't hate that we missed out on it. Jason Dominguez ended up being rookie of the year along with Charlie Condon of the Rockies. So let's talk about pitching. Bullpen was a little bit of an issue this year. Clark Schmidt kind of struggled in the innings that he pitched along with Clay Holmes. Yep, I tried to have his back. Say, you know what? I got you. Give me one more season. And he just slapped me in the face. So there's that. Will Warren came up, gave us 34 innings. Wasn't bad. Marcus Stroman as our 5th starter, again, was pretty decent. I'll take that for sure. So they're both going to be long relievers for the postseason. Ian Hamilton was pretty solid for us. Love to see that. We've got Tanner Scott, who kind of sucked, which worries me. And I didn't give him an option for the next season. So we're kind of stuck with him. Ron Marinaccio wasn't amazing. So he's not someone that I'm really having a lot of faith in heading into next season. Scott Evros is going to take over for Clay Holmes. Loizaga was fantastic, but he's regressing and he becomes a free agent. So bullpen is definitely an area of need. Luke Weaver is regressing, which sucks because we have him for next year. And he was unbelievable this year. The Cy Young winner, Garrett Cole, was unbelievable. He's regressing. He's going to regress every single season moving forward. This could be a huge issue with his contract. Carlos Rodon was fantastic in the 2 spot, along with Nestor Cortez in the 3. And our 4th starter, who now has a potential, Luis Hill, really good season. Bench-wise, it really wasn't amazing. If you kind of take a look and see what was going on, like Arroyo and Trevino was fine. Oswaldo Cabrera got kicked out of the starting lineup because he was so bad. And then you got Ben Rice and Max Kepler. So like, it was fine, I guess, for a bench. If you take a look at our starters, though, Volpe is definitely not a leadoff guy. I don't think, I'm not trying to knock him down and say he's a bad player or anything, but he's just not a guy I want at the top of the order. I think that's going to be an area I'm looking for this offseason. Juan Soto, unbelievable numbers. Love to see that. Aaron Judge, good numbers from him with the 44 home runs. Christian Walker, this one might be a dud. This one might be a fail on my part. I'm hoping for a bounce back year next year. He didn't regress too heavily, but that's not giving me too much confidence. Jazz Chisholm moving up in the overall, also had a 340 on base percentage with the 819 OPS. I'm okay with him being our 3rd baseman. I did move him from a center fielder to a 3rd baseman with the position change. Stanton, yeah, he had 30 home runs. That was really about it. So I'm probably going to have to find a way for him to get out of this team, open up some money. Austin Wells was okay. I'll definitely take these numbers from a catcher. Jason Dominguez won Rookie of the Year with some interesting numbers. The OPS is around 800, right? 750. But the average in the on-base percentage is a little bad. He did 2.4 WAR. It's okay. And then Oswald Peraza came into the team like midway. And you know what? It's nothing flashy, but for a starting second baseman, it's the best we got. So there's that. If we take a quick look at our prospects, you know, we don't really have anybody that can come in and step it. Like Spencer Jones is still improving a little bit. He's probably the closest we have to MLB ready. And in terms of MLB ready pitchers, we've got Rob Berry. So there's that. Seth Mikolas is moving pretty quickly up the ranks for the relievers. And that was really about it. I think the only other starter that we have close that's like MLB ready would be Clayton Beeter, but even still, nothing too exciting. So yeah, we're gonna have to figure something out this offseason, especially because we're gonna be pretty low on money. Orioles, how are we gonna do against them? We are gonna sweep them, which is amazing. And as much as I want Luis Hill to pitch this game, we're gonna continue with our top 3 starters. So Garrett Cole, game 1, we lose, but we do win the second, and it is still 2-2. Come on, don't lose to the Twins. Don't lose to the Twins. We lost to the Twins. Nestor lost it, and we fall a game short of the World Series, which is the Twins and the Padres. Padres end up taking it in a pretty convincing fashion. So man, really, we just fell short, huh? Can I see the postseason stats really quick? Yeah, Christian Walker let me down. Stanton let me down. I got to get rid of this contract. Can he please retire this year? My manager retired? Come on. All right, so Stanton didn't retire, so that's going to be priority number 1. Get rid of that contract. I don't even care who takes it. Please, just somebody take it off my hands. Anybody. I'm not going to get much for him, so I'm just going to see which team has the most money. I'm sending him there. And it was between the Twins and the Orioles. I don't want to handicap the Orioles because they're currently in our division, so I'm going to send him to the Twins. That's right. I'm going to handicap them, even though they just went to the World Series. So I'm going to take this reliever, Stanton. Get out of here. I want him off the books. Should open up a little bit of money. And now, what do we do with this? We're about the same budget-wise as we were last year. Yeah, there's some tough choices here. These are my 2 offers: a $14 million a year contract to Nestor, 2 years. It's a club option on the second year. I'm hoping he takes it. He wasn't like too far intrigued by it, so I don't expect him to take it. And then Arroyo just as a bench bat, which means there's quite a few guys leaving this season, but I want to keep the money open. I want to see what else is available. Let's see what we can go and get. Alrighty, season 2, we're currently ranked 3rd, which I think was the exact same that we were last year, but let's talk about the team. Kyle Finnegan was a bullpen addition, super cheap, 2.5 mil. I'm not expecting a lot. He's 34 years old. I have a feeling I'm probably gonna have to replace him mid-season. Nestor Cortez is back, 2-year deal, 14 mil, no option. I'm just gonna rock with it, say, you know what? I have faith in you being our 4th and our 5th pitcher. We needed one, so I went out and signed somebody. And that was the veteran Brandon Woodruff, 1-year deal, 13 mil. I wasn't gonna be able to afford the top guys like Ranger Suarez, Zach Gallen, or who was the other top pitcher. I don't even remember it now. It doesn't matter. I couldn't afford him. But last year I had a 3.39 ERA. He's still 33. I feel like I can get 1 season out of him. We should be fine. Victor Caratini is our new backup. Oswald Peraza is going to take over for Cabrera. Cabrera is going to start in AAA. And then Austin Hayes is our 4th, 5th outfielder. Really wasn't any other good options. Kyle Schwarber signed a 1-year deal. Hasn't played a lot the last couple seasons. I'm really just banking on him coming in, hitting 30+ home runs, doing a little bit better than Stanton. And for 4 mil, couldn't beat that deal. But this was our huge signing this offseason. Luis Renifo, again, the budget is really making things difficult. He signed for 10 mil for the next 3 years. I thought for a 29-year-old who can play literally every position on the infield and the outfield, let's pick him up. He was pretty good last year, so I'm really just banking on him sitting around 800 OPS, playing a fine second base, and he fits in at the top of the lineup. So this is the squad. Christian Walker becomes a free agent at the end of the year. Then we'll go out and get a new first baseman. I've got a couple names in mind. They should become free agents, hopefully. Jazz Chisholm extended his deal for around 17.5 mil for the next 4 years. I just feel like, you know what? He belongs in a New York Yankees uniform. That's our third baseman. That's the squad for this season. There was a generational draft pick in last year's draft. His name was Horatio Trevino, so there he is. And speaking of our draft picks, this was our final pick in round 6, Esteban Montalvo. In the 5th round, we got a potential reliever, Marcos de Silva, but he is 54 overall, so not ideal. In the 4th round, we picked up Rick Gonzalez out of Mexico, a 6'5 righty. You know what? Not bad. He is 55 though overall. Andres Ortiz out of Iowa, catcher, again, super low rated. This draft was either they got drafted super early or they were low rated. It was a weird draft class. I picked up a C potential first baseman in the 2nd round. I think his potential is like 74. It's not great, but this was our main guy, Gustavo Chacon out of Virginia. Just was the best available player that I had when I could pick, so I went with him. But that's the team for season 2. I don't feel great about it. Not many changes, but again, the budget could be an issue. Christian Walker's deal really kind of hurting me. So hopefully he produces this season and we win a World Series. Let's finish season 2. Alrighty, season 2 is over, and once again in that number 1 spot. We won 100 games, 62 losses. We're currently ranked the number 2 team in baseball. Good ERA. I would say 260 as a team. Not terrible. Was that 30 for defense? Oh, it's 30 for speed. Okay, I'll take that. League leaders. Juan Soto had the best on base plus slugging, also known as OPS. Awards, just one. Hank Aaron. Okay. Kerry Carpenter. Whoa. Okay. MVP for him. Beat out Juan Soto and Brent Rooker. Again, Brent Rooker in the 3rd spot. Shohei won it on the NL side. What a surprise there. Santander. Let me show you what kind of contract he signed with the Dodgers. Yeah, $6 million. Pretty snazzy for him. All right, Glasnow won the Cy Young for the NL side. Crochet won it on the AL side. Okay, I think that's Jack Flaherty for the 2nd year in a row in the mix. David Fry and Mookie Betts won the batting title. Reliever of the year went to David Bednar. Okay, and Griffin Jacks. And then we finish it off with Rookie of the Year, Xavier Isaac, along with James Tibbs III. There's Trevino, the generational talent. There was also a generational talent in this year's draft. I believe he went to the Marlins. I believe. We'll double check when the season starts next year. But this is the team. Luis Hill wasn't as good as last year. I want to check a FIP real quick. He had a 3.7 last year, a 4.2 this year. So okay, kind of where he's at. We've got Will Warren, who also wasn't as good this year as he was last year, but he also did pitch more, so that's something to keep in mind. Ron Marinaccio, I said I didn't have faith in him, and you know what? I should have. I did have to take him out of the setup role. As you can see, he does have 12 holds, but hey, he had a really good season this year. I have faith in him now. Ian Hamilton now has a potential, which is absolutely crazy to think about. He was a setup guy for a little bit, struggled, and then I took him out. I don't know why it looks like he's got like a weird paint/tan on his player picture, but it doesn't matter. If you're performing like that, you can wear whatever you want on your face. Phil Bickford, 4.5 ERA. There we go. Tanner Scott now has B potential, and with that, when I saw that happen, I go, you know what? You can have one more season with the team, and he was absolutely nasty. Kyle Finnegan, I was so worried about him. I shouldn't have been. The guy was absolutely insane. And then we'll finish it off with Luke Weaver, who is starting to regress a little bit, and he had a pretty decent season as well. Garrett Cole, like I said, he's going to regress, but he's still putting up crazy good numbers. Rodon in the 2 spot, also a very good pitcher. Only won 8 games of his 33 starts. It's kind of crazy to think about. Nestor, good year. Love to see that. And then Brandon Woodruff, gave him a 1-year deal, and he delivered. So with that being said, let's hop over to the offensive side of things. The bench was atrocious. Don't worry about the bench. Don't worry about Christian Walker. We're going to pretend like this deal never happened. It was terrible. Cabrera came back up and replaced, I don't even see him now, Peraza, because he hit like 100 on the season off the bench. I'm looking at Fabregas, still not where I want him to be. Spencer Jones actually hit very well. He's definitely on my radar to be called up next year. And that's really about it in terms of prospects to keep an eye on. Everson Pereira's there, but he's definitely just going to be a bench bat for us. If you want to talk about Roderick Arias, not really developing where I want him to be, but he is at least developing. Possibly a trade piece for a pitcher if need be. And then Chacon looking pretty good at 64 overall. All right, back to the major league side of things. This is what I needed from Renifo. The power numbers aren't crazy, but he still hit 16 home runs, had a 340 on base percentage,
I will take it. Soto, great numbers, love that. Judge is regressing a little bit, but still put up very good numbers. Schwarber, 26 home runs. That's all I was asking for. Somewhere around the 30 mark, and he did it. Chisholm, 90 overall, had that extension, showed out with a 280 average, 847 OPS. Jason Dominguez, unbelievable season. Yeah, the OPS is a little bit under 800, but 24 doubles, 13 home runs, 285 average. I'll take it. Volpe, a little bit of a bounce back year. I still think he can go a little bit better. I'm expecting it from him. Ben Rice took over for Christian Walker, and I definitely need a first baseman. Unless I want to move Spencer Jones there, I guess I could give him a little bit of a trial there. I just don't know if he's ready. Austin Wells, yikes. Let's pretend like that didn't happen. And then back to Renifo. The lineup is set. The bullpen rotation is set. We got to go win a World Series. We can't lose. Please don't lose. That's a good start. A little 1-2-3 action against the Red Sox. Now, we lost to them last year. Let's not do it again. That's a great start. Great start. There we go. We got one back. All right, 2-1. 2-2. Garrett Cole, please. All right, we are in the World Series taking on the Phillies. Garrett Cole just pitched. He's looking pretty good. So is the whole team is actually looking pretty good, but let's rock with what we've got going on. World Series time. In the World Series, we always take a look and see what the other team is looking like. Any new additions? Oh, they got Kyle Tucker and Luis Campusano. Okay, so that's new. Kyle Tucker's gonna absolutely mash in the World Series. I just know it because of how poorly he's doing. Michael King, okay. Luis Severino. Clay Holmes, how were you for the Phillies? 12 innings, 3 ERA, of course. All right, let's see what happens. We've got to win this. That's a good start. Okay. A sweep would have been nice there. Please no. Okay, 13-1. The offense came to play. 14 runs, 11 runs, 13 runs, 6 runs. I got a little worried when we lost those two, but we won it in the end. Carlos Rodon have a World Series. I don't even care if there's a hitter for the MVP. He deserves it based on those numbers up in the top. Let's go take a look and see who won it. It was Renifo. See, we don't even have to talk about the Christian Walker signing anymore. I went out and got the World Series MVP. Playoff MVP went to Aaron Judge, which he had a great postseason, by the way. Holy, 400 average? 400 average. Garrett Cole was solid. Rodon had a sub-1 ERA. We've got Nestor Cortez and Woodruff. Looking at the bullpen, how we looking? One bad outing is going to ruin your ERA and everything. But let's take a look at the starters. And to be honest, Volpe did struggle a little bit. Austin Wells did too. Outside of that, everybody else hit the ball. We won a World Series in season 2. Huge. Honestly, I didn't like this team as much as I did the first season. So for us to win a World Series, I am happy. Okay, what is with Brandon Woodruff's head? What is going on there? It looks like one of those shrunken voodoo heads. Okay. All right, I'm just going to let everybody walk. I don't have a lot of money. I have less than what I did last year. I'm going to need some positions. I'm definitely going to need some positions. I need I need a starter because I'm losing Woodruff. I don't trust Will Warren. I just don't. I don't have a prospect either. Bullpen, I could use somebody. And then obviously that first base spot is going to open with Christian Walker leaving. We're also losing Schwarber. So I got to be super smart with the money. I know there's a couple first basemen available. Let's go have a good offseason. Alrighty, what season is this? Season 3. We're ranked first, third in defense. That never happens. That is a good thing to see. Fourth pitching, fourth power, first in contact. So let's just start off with the prospects for our squad. This was the generational talent that went to the Marlins that I mentioned. He looks unbelievable. So there's that. But you're gonna see some new names, guys that I drafted in last year's draft. Richie Hart was our first round pick, automatically becomes our first prospect, our first ranked prospect, and these are kind of the rest of the guys as you see them. I'm starting to think I'm gonna have to start trading our prospects just because money wise we're getting more strapped for cash and it's becoming really difficult to sign guys. So I'm starting to look and see which ones are developing well, which ones aren't going to crack the lineup, and then I'm probably going to start to move them moving forward. So those were our top 10: Arias, Vesperias,
and Reed just on the outside of that top 10. I'll quickly show you our draft picks from last year. In the 6th round, it was Padilla. In the 5th, it was Zepeda. Again, pretty low rated. 4th round, another low rated player in Barreto, but B potential, so he could maybe get us a good reliever. In the 3rd round, it was Pineda, one of our higher rated prospects in the organization. 2nd round, Vesperas, again, high potential player, could work as a trade piece. Kenny, I don't know how to say your last name, from California, looks like he could hit. And then our number 1 rated prospect in our organization, Richie Hart, was our 1st round pick last year. He actually doesn't look too bad. Maybe in season 5 he can debut, but we'll have to wait and see. Again, I think our prospects are mostly trade pieces moving forward, just because I'm pretty strapped for cash. Just really quickly, I'm over budget right now, and next year I've got 200 million on the books. Like, it's going to be difficult to work with. So moving to the pitching staff, Jojo Romero was our first pickup. I actually went to get Jose Alvarado, but instead he signed a 5-year deal. I think 10 mil per season. Jojo Romero was my backup, cost me 4 mil less. I'll take it. He hasn't been great as a closer, but as a setup guy, I think he could be pretty good, or maybe middle relief. And then that extra money that I had left over from not signing Jose Alvarado, I just went back and signed Luke Weaver, 5 mil. I know he's been slightly regressing, but he's been one of our more consistent relievers. I decided to bring him back. And this was our big splash of the offseason for 15 mil, 13 mil, Jesus Luzardo, with the team option for the 2nd year, depending on how things go. Been hovering around a 4 ERA, so if he can give us that, I'd be pretty happy at the 5 spot. And this is our pitching staff. The one thing I'm thinking about is potentially Will Warren maybe moves into the bullpen, or what we could do is, depending on how Luis Hill performs this season, I could make him a reliever moving forward. We'll see. If he hovers around a 4, maybe a 4.5 ERA, I'd consider making him a reliever. It would also make his contract cheaper come that last season of the rebuild. So just something to think about. Our 1 bench addition was a backup catcher in Jake Rogers. Nothing too crazy. But our main offensive splash was the reliable Nathaniel Lowe. 10 mil, just shy of 10 mil a season. He's been pretty consistent. Again, nothing too flashy. High teens for home runs, hovering around at 800 OPS. It's just going to be a reliable bat that we kind of needed. Even though we're coming off a World Series, I felt like he was a little bit of an upgrade at first base. And then Spencer Jones, I'm just going to give him the DH spot, and I feel pretty good about the team. All these guys are basically just fighting for a bench spot. This is what our bench is looking like. We've got Fabregas, we've got Lombard Jr., Brett Beatty was available in free agency, was able to pick him up for 2.5 mil. I thought that was a pretty good deal just in case we need an extra bench bat. And then we've got a couple other guys who have either drafted or just picked up in free agency that could potentially be bench bats for us. That's literally what all this is. If they're hitting well, they stay on the team. If not, they're gone or could be traded too. So again, like I said, the budget's a big issue. Let's see what we can do in the season. So the season's over, once again holding down that number 1 spot. And I think the Twins have been number 2 every single season as well. Looking at the standings, 108 wins. We were absolutely insane. Had a couple blemishes in the rotation / bullpen, and a couple bats were a little cold. But as you can see, 1st rank, 2nd contact, 2nd power, 5th pitching, 2nd defense. A little slow at 23, but I'll take it. League leaders, Garrett Cole with the most wins, Luke Weaver with the most saves, and offensively, I mean, those two went crazy. Juan Soto, Aaron Judge, there we go. If we take a look at the awards, we've got a Cy Young, a Gold Glove, actually 3 Gold Gloves, and a Hank Aaron Award. Brent Rooker finally gets his MVP after being 3rd for the last couple seasons. Judge and Soto right behind him. On the AL side, what a surprise, it's Ohtani. Strider won Cy Young along with Garrett Cole, which he's regressing pretty heavily. We've got 1 more year on his deal, but hey, if he's going to be pitching like that, I'm not going to complain about the regression at all. We've got the batting title to Arise, who is now with the Giants. Corey Seager won it for the Rangers, or with the Rangers, I should say. There's Jose Alvarado. He was absolutely nasty. I mean, that's a crazy season. Like I said, he actually signed for less than 10 mil. He just wanted that 5-year deal, huh? That's annoying. Evan Phillips won the reliever of the year with the Reds, and then Cam Collier along with Walter Jenkins were the rookies of the year. All right, so as you can see, some things have changed with the bullpen and everything. I gave some time to Rob Berry just to kind of see how he would do. Wasn't great at all. I also did Reierling. Either way, he also got some time up in the majors. Wasn't great. So there's that. I don't think anybody else got MLB time this year. So Will Warren ended up getting some starts, and he was pretty good. He's probably going to be the 5 moving forward. I've made Heel a closer. I want to see how this works. He got some time as a middle reliever. It wasn't amazing. At one point, he had like a 6.5 ERA, so at least he got it down to a 5.11. But we'll see how that works moving forward. He's got 1 year to really prove to me that he can be a reliever, because the pitching, the reason I moved him to the bullpen was because he was really struggling as a starter. So we'll see how it goes. Marinaccio continues to do really well. Love to see that. We got Bickford, who was crazy good this season. Jojo Romero also with a bounce back year. Love to see that. And then Tanner Scott really struggled this season. I ended up sending him down at one point. So yikes, bad season. But he does become a free agent, probably looking a different direction. Ian Hamilton continues to just absolutely dominate on the mound. And then Luke Weaver, still very good, only 3 blown saves. Looking at our starters, Rodon took that number 1 spot, still pitching fantastic. He also has a similar contract to Garrett Cole, where it expires after 2028. Garrett Cole was Cy Young winner. We've got Nestor Cortez, who's still pitching very well, also expiring contract. So that's something to keep in mind. And then Luzardo was unbelievably good, so I am definitely picking up that option. And he'll probably just replace Cortez in the rotation, and we'll need a starter, which is going to be difficult with the money that we don't have. All right, Peraza, probably going to be our bench bat moving forward. Ben Rice was whatever. He only had 3 ABs. He's gone. I'm probably going to pick up the arbitration, and I'm just going to try to flip him in the offseason. Jake Rogers was a backup catcher. I'm not too really worried about it at all. And then Everson Pereira was fine. It wasn't anything crazy, but again, probably looking for a new bench bat. If we're looking at guys down here, Kyle Stowers, whichever it is, actually kind of raked in AAA. I was keeping an eye on different names here. Spencer Jones was sent down. Just really wasn't his season this year. So after 90 games, I decided to send him down, and that's where we're at. So Renifo, a little worrying season. I'm not gonna lie. Average on base percentage, not great. Don't like that. Soto, crazy numbers, 52 home runs. Judge, 47 home runs. I mean, what? That's 99 home runs between the two of them. That's absolutely crazy. We've got Lowe, who's A potential now, 26 home runs, a career year for him. Jazz, great season with 21 home runs, almost a 300 average. Jason Dominguez, slightly worse than last year, but at the same time, still really good numbers with 31 doubles, 17 home runs. I'll take it. Volpe somehow improved, but had a terrible season. Brett Beatty ended up being the new DH after Spencer Jones was sent down, and he had 8 home runs, 50 hits, 25 RBIs. I'll take those numbers. If he ends up on the bench or even as our DH, I'm okay with that. And then Austin Wells is hopefully not going to settle around these kind of numbers, because that's looking terrible. And then back to Renifo. So we've seen the team. We know what it's looking like. Similar path to the World Series. We've got the Astro this time, and we win there. We lose on that one. Lose on that one too. We're not eliminated. It comes down to Rodon, and we are eliminated this time. What happened? So we lose 3-1, 6-5, and then 5-2. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. So Heel lost us this game, and then Marinaccio lost us that game. Offensively, what are we looking like? Okay, so yeah, the offense wasn't there. That makes sense. There we go. The offense just didn't show up, and that's a disappointing way to lose. So yeah, the Astros ended up winning. I am going to pick up this option. I'm going to let Nestor walk at the age of 33, Luke Weaver at the age of 34, maybe 4.5 is actually not too bad. Jake Rogers is definitely going. Tanner Scott is definitely going, but I'm 100% picking up this $2.5 million option for Brett Beatty. I signed this guy. I didn't even use him at all. I probably could have instead of Tanner Scott. How much does he want? Just a little depth. Maybe give him a 1.3 mil. I think that's not too bad. But as you can see, I've only got 60 mil in the budget. It's not a lot to work with. Luckily, we've got everybody signed up on the staff. I don't know what to do this offseason. I really don't. Let's see what I can if I can pull the rabbit out of the hat or not. All right, before season 4, I've got a couple trades because I am super tight on money. I want to open up a little bit of money, and I want to get rid of players that I just don't really see as part of the team moving forward.
So the first trade is Jorbit Vivas, Cody Poteet, and Luis Gonzalez for Rich Denny. Looks okay, nothing too crazy. We've got Randy Rodriguez, again, just a little bit more depth in the bullpen. And then we're going to take a shot on Sixto. We'll see what happens with him. But that's the first trade. We're doing a little bit of a salary dump on the Marlins. Next one's with the Cubs, a little bit more depth in the bullpen. Carl Anderson, a young prospect, looks decent. And then Jack Neely's coming back to the Yankees for Oswaldo Cabrera. Again, just trying to open up some more money. And then this one's with the Diamondbacks for Gilbert Diaz. We're giving up Carlos Narvaez and Oswald Peraza. I kind of wanted to keep Peraza, but this one at least gets us like into the positive budget for once. And we're getting a decent pitcher who can be a long reliever, fit in at the back of the rotation for us. Last year, didn't pitch much. The year before, didn't pitch much either. So again, just a young pitcher, 27 years old, team control for the rest of the rebuild. I feel like it's definitely worth it. Alrighty, fourth season, and we're ranked first with second contact, second pitching, fourth power, fifth defense. Speed's a little low, but we haven't had a fast team for a while. A big thing this offseason was making sure Volpe stayed with the team for the rest of the rebuild. He hasn't really shown out like crazy, really been like really good. The best season he had was 2026, which not a bad season, but the only way I could sign him was if I offered him more than 20 mil. So yeah, I made sure I gave him a really long contract and I backloaded that so that we wouldn't get hit for this rebuild. But I figured Yankees fans would want me to keep him at shortstop, so he is sticking here. Let's talk about the pitching. One addition to the bullpen was Nate Pearson. I thought with the A potential, he's still only 31. He's been fairly decent except for last year. So I'm thinking maybe as like a middle relief arm, maybe a setup, maybe a closer, just really depends on what he does best. We'll stick him there. It was $3 million, 2 years. I thought this was a pretty good deal. But this was the big money move this offseason. We really needed someone at the top of the rotation, and he has been fantastic for the Reds in this rebuild. So for a pretty decent sum of money, 27, almost 28 mil a year for the next, 6 years? Or I guess it's like 25 and a half-ish, 26. For the next 6 years, we've got Nick Lodolo in the team. 6'6", he's a lefty, just slots right in, top of the rotation. Garrett Cole does become a free agent at the end of the year. So does Rodon. So there's going to be some question marks about what we do with the bullpen or with the rotation moving forward, because we don't really have the best of talent currently in the farm system. I do have 2 guys on waivers that will slot right into this spot, but some depth at the bullpen spot. I kind of like what we've got going on there. Some of the guys that we drafted are also developing pretty well, but we just don't really have anybody that's been really good that's developed as a starter. So I think starters, we're probably going to need somebody this offseason. Gilbert slots in at this long relief spot. We'll wait and see how he does. Lineup wise, not much, because I spent the money on Lodolo. That's where the money went. So this is what we're gonna rock with. Fabregas is getting the call up, the 6'5" third baseman with absolutely no power, but a good glove and decent contact skills. We'll see how he does as our DH versus lefties. And this is kind of the whole bench. I don't have Spencer Jones up just because I do have Brett Beatty as the DH this year. If he sucks, then Spencer Jones will come up. But other than that, this is the team. For once, we should have some money this offseason. We're currently at $153 million in salaries. Yes, I'm a little bit over this year, but I think with a couple players leaving, I think with a couple players that we could sign for cheaper deals, I think we'll be okay. We should be able to make some moves. So we'll see what we can do with this season and the final season next year. Other than that, that's the team. Let's sim through season 4. So the season's over. Once again, we're at the top of the AL with that #1 seed, and I don't know what happened this year. I don't know if we had some magic voodoo ceremony before the season. I don't know if we were rocking the buzzers. I don't know, because holy cow, we were unbelievable. 113 wins. We had a team average of 294. We were slugging over 500, almost a 370 on base percentage, a team ERA of 336. What happened? It was unbelievable. Nick Lodolo had the best winning percentage. Renifo had the most hits. Judge had the most runs, the best OPS, the most WAR at almost 10. And then let me just show you the awards really quick. That's it, just a Hank Aaron. Okay. Little disappointed by that. Not gonna lie. Mike Trout did win MVP though. Ohtani won it on the NL side again. What a surprise. I mean, Yeah, he's been pretty nasty, huh? He's been pretty nasty. Logan Gilbert with the Braves now won at Cy Young. Dylan Cease won it on the AL side. Contreras and Acuna are the batting title winners. And then Alex Vesia along with Yuki Matsui are the relievers of the year. Rookie of the year went to Jack Caglione and Matt Shaw. We didn't have a single name in the hat there. That's crazy. All right, let's talk about pitching. So as you can see, there's no Will Warren. He got absolutely shelled this year. Tough season. Started 16 games, which is, hey, I threw him in the rotation at a certain point. And on top of that, a little bit of long relief work. Just didn't really get comfortable in either role. So I turned to Cash Orr and also Yilbert Diaz. Yilbert Diaz had a couple starts, 5 starts, 140 innings on the season. Was very, very reliable. I'm hoping I can rely on him next year in the 5 spot or potentially Cash Orr. Got 11 starts and was really good. I had him in the long relief role. I think he pitched once. He had like 1 1/3 inning. He had a 20 ERA after that one appearance. Let's see. Yeah, one appearance because the other games he started. So I immediately took him out of the long relief role. I threw him into the starter spot in the rotation. And this is what we got. There we go. Ron Marinaccio, I extended his contract for 1 more season. The last year of the rebuild, he's been fantastic. The last 3 seasons, I said, you know what? You're staying in the pinstripes. Phil Bickford is regressing, which I was thinking about maybe keeping him around. I could potentially do that with the arbitration, but he's really good. Really good, consistent reliever the last 2 seasons. Jojo Romero, also fairly good. We still got him for the last season of the rebuild. He's up to 86 overall. Luis Hill did take him out of the closer role, was struggling a little bit, had 6 blown saves, but he did bring his ERA down from like a 5.5 to a 4.1. So improvements, I figured for $4.5 million, let's keep him for 1 more season as a reliever. Ian Hamilton, though, consistent setup guy. With that being said, he's staying for the rest of the rebuild, $6 million. And then Nate Pearson took over the closer role after I took out Luis Hill, and he still did very well. So bullpen was unbelievable. I was thinking about maybe mixing it up with some of the other guys that we had because our AAA bullpen had all like 2 ERAs. So I know I have some good arms in AAA that I can rely on if need be, if anything goes poorly here. Our starters, Nick Lodolo is regressing, which is not what I want to see after I just gave him that big money move. But a 3 ERA, I'll take it. Same thing with Rodon, very good in his last year with the team. Garrett Cole still dealing with 207 innings with a 3 ERA at 37 years old. Luzardo was fantastic again. I'm on the fence about giving him another deal. We'll have to wait and see how much money we have. And that's the pitching staff. It was really good. Lineup. This was unbelievable. I wanted to get Spencer Jones into the team. I just couldn't take anybody out of the lineup. Everybody was mashing. Logan Davidson, I'm not expecting him to mash, but he did on the bench. Ben Rice off the bench. Vladimir Fabregas was facing lefties all year, and he did fairly well in 226 ABs. Pretty happy with those numbers. Riley Adams didn't get a single AB as our backup catcher, probably because Ben Rice was here. And then Everson Pereira was pretty good off the bench as well. If that's what our bench is looking like, let's go take a look at our starters. 32 home runs in a contract year for Luis Renifo, which, this is what I'm saying. What happened? Where did this come from? Career year. Juan Soto, great numbers. Judge, unbelievable numbers from him. We've got Nathaniel Lowe, who sadly potential went down to B, which is a huge bummer. Huge bummer. But you know what? Still a very consistent season out of him. Jazz still putting up really good numbers with a 922 OPS, a career year by far. Jason Dominguez was a little lackluster, and I considered taking him out and putting in Spencer Jones. But then I was like, you know what? Let's give him the full season. And to be honest, it's fine. It's perfectly fine. Volpe paid him, did a career season right there like that. And then Brett Beatty, this was the guy I was like, he is got to earn his ABs. He did. 370 on base percentage, 812 OPS, 14 home runs, 24 doubles. I will take it. Austin Wells even decided to show up this season with 21 home runs. Offense is there. Pitching is there. We're definitely going to get first rounded because we were so good this season. So just expect that. That's a good win. That's another good win. All right, we swept. I'm perfect. So Luzardo, I do need him to earn a contract, but because everybody's been pitching so well, I can't let him pitch just yet. So we're taking on the Angels. What? It doesn't matter. The Angels got swept. We're taking on the Phillies, which, did we take on the Phillies the one time we were in the World Series last year? I think that was the case. Was that the situation? Or was it somebody else? I don't remember now. I remember we faced the Twins to go to the World Series, but I don't remember. Either way, Phillies. We win. We win again. We win again. That was our first loss in the postseason, and we ended up winning. It doesn't matter. 8-3. Our first loss was a 6-2 loss here. Phil Bickford lost it in relief. I'm pretty happy though. 7-6, 8-6, 8-2. And then if we take a look at our team really quickly, just to kind of get an idea, Garrett Cole, man, what a way to leave the Yankees. Unbelievable work from him. Luzardo definitely did struggle. Lodolo was great. The rest of the bullpen, like I said, one bad outing is going to ruin your postseason numbers. Offensively, Rengifo wasn't great, but the rest of the guys, I mean, 465 from Jason Dominguez. The offense, man, is unbelievable. Brett Beatty, World Series MVP. Jason Dominguez was the playoff MVP. Brett Beatty hit 474, just only 3 RBIs. Okay. Jason Dominguez had a really good postseason. Love to see that. And it was Kyle Tucker who was the postseason MVP with 15 RBIs for the Phillies. Hey, final season, definitely pitching, right? Because we're losing Cole and Rodon and Luzardo, which, this is tough because like Lodolo's at the top, right? We're gonna lose these 3, which realistically Gilbert could probably take one of their spots, but that, like, is Cash Orr ready? Is Will Warren a guy I can rely on? Budget wise, we're sitting at 107 mil, so it is around the most that we've had, but we are also losing 3 of our rotation arms. Rengifo is probably going to want a lot. 7 mils, not bad. 8 mils, not bad. How much does Luzardo want? 13 mils, also not bad. So I'm going to offer 14. I'm going to see what he thinks. If he takes it, great. If he doesn't, okay, that's cool, I guess. But I think that's what I'm going to do right here. I'm going to offer Luzardo 14 mil. I'm going to think about Rengifo, and I'm going to leave it there. But I definitely need some pitching this year. All right, so I'm looking at the pitchers here, right? And I'm like, I need 3. Hopefully Luzardo comes back. I've changed it from a 1 to a 3-year deal. I figured he's been fairly consistent for us. If he slots in at that 3, maybe that 4 spot, I'd be okay. We do have Lodolo, so I definitely need another like top arm, and it's probably between these 2. The thing with Logan Webb is he hasn't really improved. He also hasn't really regressed, but he's coming off of a pretty bad season, so it's something to keep in mind. Same thing with Cole Reagans. Like, he's not really improving or like regressing, but he is coming off of one of his best seasons. Also less service time, so he should have a little bit more juice in his arm if you use the logic of like real life, but we all know how MLB The Show is. Other arms, maybe Braxton Garrett. He's coming off of a pretty good season. Maybe Ryan Pepio, again, coming off of a fairly decent season. But I really need probably a top-end arm to really compete with what we did last year, because right now it's looking pretty thin. So I got a trade in mind. I want Gavin Williams. He's about to become a free agent after this upcoming season. I'm looking at this Guardians roster going, it's okay, but like it's not amazing. Some players are regressing. It doesn't look great. Their pitching staff's a little on the lower end side. I want Gavin Williams. Let's cash in while we can. So with that being said, I'm going to give them Rob Berry, one of our prospects that has developed pretty well, but he's 27 years old, really doesn't have a place in the rotation right now. We'll send him to Cleveland. Next 2 pieces to make the trade possible. Roderick Arias never really developed how I was hoping. Definitely a glove first guy at short. He did have a good season with +11 versus contact versus lefties this year, but he's not going to break the team. We have Alexander Vargas, whose potential went up to B. He can be more of a backup. We still have Volpe, who's only 27, and we signed that long-term deal with him. So yeah, let's get rid of him. Same age is Ronald Visperas. I believe he was a season 2 or season 3 draft pick, but a potential. He doesn't look bad. It's just, again, he's blocked by so many other players. They want a bunch of shortstops, and they don't look amazing at that position anyways. So you know what? This gives us our other top end pitcher, Gavin Williams. Welcome to the Yankees. So now after that trade, if Luzardo comes back. We just need one more arm, which I feel like is pretty easy to afford. I definitely got to make sure I offer him arbitration so he doesn't leave. That would be horrible to trade for him, not offer, and then lose him in free agency or have to overpay. So yeah, it's really between Reagans or Webb, or maybe somebody else. We'll see. Alrighty, final season, and as you can see, we're ranked first in contact and pitching, second in power, sadly, second in defense, sadly, but 19th in speed. Overall, the team looks absolutely insane. Look at what we did. Cole Reagans was the big splash. Obviously, I had to go and get him. Logan Webb just worried me a little bit too much, so I think right here, this is our man at the top of the rotation. It is a big contract, but he's been fairly consistent. 2027 kind of sucks, but every other year has been really good throughout this rebuild. Gavin Williams through the trade, Lodolo, Yilber, and Luzardo is back. Actually, I'm going to flip those two. But this is the team. Will Warren is going to get his chance at the long relief spot. If it doesn't work out, then we're probably going to go to one of our youngsters that we have, like Cash Orr. Why is this all over the place? But I'll fix it. But it's probably going to be either Richie Hart or Cash Orr as one of our two long relievers, just because they have the better like per nines that I'm looking for that usually do well in sim. Again, the bullpen, I have faith in them. Last year they did really well, and if someone regresses or does poorly, we have that talent in AAA too. We've got the squad. Everything's looking great. I mean, I feel pretty good about this team. I feel like we're gonna run it back. This is the lineup. As you can see, nothing's changed. Oh, actually, I lied. Spencer Jones, I'm gonna put him in center. I'm gonna take Judge out of center and make him a DH. I feel like at 36 years old, probably shouldn't be manning center field anymore. So Jazz is going to move to second. Judge is going to DH, Jones in center, and then Brett Beatty's going to play third. That was the way I had to jumble up the lineup to make everything work. As you can see, we've got a couple new faces on the bench. I figured if Ben Rice is just going to get those backup catcher ABs anyways, there's no point in bringing another catcher onto the team. And then versus lefties, Fabregas jumps in at third because he's got a decent arm, decent fielding, and he mashes against lefties. Soto, Judge still at DH, and then you can kind of see what we have to do to get the rest of the guys in. Pereira is one of our better bats versus lefties, so I'm just going to have him in center. If things don't go well, then I'll jumble up a couple more things to make it work. Other than that, team looks great. I'm feeling good about it. I mean, we're ranked highly. We did really well last year. Basically brought the same team, but upgraded it pitching wise. Let's go win another World Series. All right, so you know it. First seed in the playoffs, and I thought last year was crazy. This time we got the trash can out. We got the buzzers. We got the camera in center field. 118 wins, a 3.25 ERA as a team. I think our fielding percentage got a little bit worse, but a 365 on base percentage, just shy of a 500 slugging, and a 290 average. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. We were better away than we were at home this year. Like, it's crazy. League leaders, look at Yilber. Talk about a pickup. Talk about a pickup. And then Juan Soto, Aaron Judge, Juan Soto, Aaron Judge led the league in offensive stats. I mean, the top three batting averages were Yankees. Look at this team was unbelievable. I'm gonna keep saying it because I'm so flabbergasted by it. It's crazy. So for the final season, let's take a look at awards. Yilber was the Cy Young winner. Soto won the Hank Aaron, the American League MVP, and the batting title. So there he is, MVP. Jordan signed with the Giants. He finally beat Ohtani. So Ohtani's reign of MVPs is over. Paul Skeens won the Cy Young. I actually was going to try to trade for Paul Skeens. It was impossible. There was no way I was going to make it possible. That's why I went with Gavin Williams instead. Yilber and Gavin Williams, speak of the devil, were in the Cy Young race. Soto was a batting title winner, along with Mason Wynn of the Cardinals, AJ Puck, and Roansy Contreras. I know you're not going to believe me. I actually looked at Roansy Contreras around the third season just as like cheap pitchers. When we decided to get Yilber, that was actually when I was looking around, seeing what relievers, like the whole Yilber trade, the Jack Neely trade, and what was the other trade that we did? Oh, the trade that we did with the Marlins for Sixto. That was when I was actually looking at Roansy Contreras, and it looks like he was actually a pretty good pickup if we would have went and got him. But Jacob Gonzalez won Rookie of the Year along with Keith Miter, who was actually the same draft as the generational talent with the Marlins. I forgot what his name was, but Keith Miter won Rookie of the Year. All right, let's talk about our pitching staff, because holy cow, was it nasty. So Cash Orr ended up taking over the long relief role. Will Warren, I sent him back down to AAA. He went on waivers. I think the Nationals claimed him, and so he's gone. But Cash Orr is our long reliever. He was fantastic in the 50 innings that he pitched, very similar to what he did last year. Ron Marinaccio, take a bow, man. Take a bow. From 2026 onwards, 2 ERAs. Unbelievable. Jojo Romero continues to dominate in the bullpen. Jack Neely stepped in for Bickford. Bickford struggled, had to send him down. He went on waivers. I think Toronto claimed him. But Jack Neely came up, did his job. Nate Pearson did struggle a little bit. Really wasn't able to figure out what was good and what was bad. But it kind of looks like he does like an every other thing here. So maybe it's just his bad season. And then Ian Hamilton was just an unbelievable setup guy for us for the entire rebuild. Just take a bow, Ian Hamilton. And then Luis Hill is regressing a little bit. He did take over the closer role. He was pretty nasty. Did blow 4 saves, though, so not ideal. Gavin Williams as a starter was unbelievable for us. Contract would be an issue, but he was really good, and we needed him this year. Second in the Cy Young for a reason. Cole Reagans with a 3.8 ERA, a little worrying because you would hope that he would give you more of a low 3, but I'll still take it. Fantastic in our squad. Luzardo, what? Huh? How are you not in the Cy Young race? Fantastic for him. I think, did he win an award with us? What year is this? 2029. So no, he didn't win any awards. What did Luzardo get? An all-star appearance this year, which is awesome. He won a Gold Glove a couple seasons ago. Gilbert, I mean, come on, man. The Cy Young, are we serious? Gilbert? And then Nick Lodolo continues to regress, but he was still fairly consistent for us. Looking at the awards, all-star for 1 year with us, so I'll take that. Did anybody win an award here? He was an all-star with us. Luis Hill was. I should specify that one. No one else in the bullpen had an award. Our bench, again, was fantastic. Logan Davidson didn't get a single at-bat this year, but Ben Rice was good. He ended up just being like a platoon guy for us, but honestly wasn't bad. Fabregas, another platoon guy for us, was really good. He continues to just hit lefties very well. Lefty specialist, I will take it. Everson Pereira, yeah, I might actually take him out. I might just rock with Spencer Jones throughout the entire playoffs. I think that's what I'm going to do. And then Gustavo Chacon should not be up. It should be Vargas, who wasn't great. So I guess we can rock with Chacon and see how he does as a bench bat for us. Jazz Chisholm, we're on the right lineup. Jazz Chisholm, again, almost 30 home runs, a 401 on base percentage. He was our leadoff guy. Awards, not a single award. Really, he was great for us, especially last year. How was he not an all-star? I guess I'm trying to think of other third basemen he would have been competing with, but Soto, again, fantastic for him. I mean, we've got an MVP, a Hank Aaron, multiple all-stars, multiple silver sluggers, a gold glove, a batting title, home run champion, multiple awards for Soto. For Judge, we have 36 home runs, a 907 OPS, down to an 87 overall, but the awards, silver slugger, playoff MVP, multiple all-star appearances, but no MVPs. Interesting. 945 OPS for Nathaniel Lowe. He was a sneaky little pickup for us for 3 seasons. Any awards? Couple all-stars, couple gold gloves, a silver slugger. Not a bad tenure with us at all. Jason Dominguez put up an 800 OPS. There we go, a career year. Still only 26 years old, about to become a free agent in a couple seasons, but there we are. Rookie of the Year in 2025 and a playoff MVP. Spencer Jones had a great year this year in terms of growth and production. Pretty good season from him. Volpe, how we looking? He was kind of a letdown. Not gonna lie. All-star, couple gold gloves. And then if we take a look at Brett Beatty low-key was kind of nice for the couple seasons that we got him, and was the World Series MVP last year. And then Austin Wells kind of settled around like a 750 OPS hitter. All right, one change. Lodolo to the bullpen. Otherwise, we're rocking the 4-man rotation to take on the Angels, and we lose. Okay, I got a little worried there. Okay, Reagan's game 1. How we looking pitching wise? I guess we rock like that. Yeah. Alrighty, Reagan's. I need you. No. Okay, that's a good win. No. Don't do this. Don't do this. We're through taking on the Braves. Gilbert, you know what? I'm just gonna leave it. Let's take a look at what the Braves are rocking for the final season. And they have, we gotta beat this team. I'm not even gonna, the pitching looks good, but that offense, we gotta beat them. So here we go. Gilbert, game 1, 10-5 victory. Game 2, 8-5 victory. Game 3, we lose. That's not good. And then we lose again. Even worse, we lose again. We're down to game 7. Cam Caminiti versus Cole Reagans, our big money move in the final season. And we win it in game 7, 5-4. Who was our MVP? Nathaniel Lowe. Playoff MVP was Aaron Judge, who had a 286 average with 13 RBIs and 8 home runs. Pretty good. Really quickly, how was the pitching? It was fine. It was fine. Let's take a look at our bullpen. Jack Neely did struggle, but overall, everybody was fantastic. Offensively, did anybody struggle at all? It looks like Spencer Jones, Volpe a little bit too. So our 6 and 7 hitters, but other than that, Fabregas did too against lefties, but he only had 6 ABs. Overall, I'm pretty happy with the team. A lot of homegrown players, a lot of like underrated signings, like Nathaniel Lowe, not a crazy like big name or anything, came in, did the job. That was really about it offensively. I mean, if you look at that, that's Brett Beatty, but everybody else is like a Yankee in real life. And then pitching, we had to change it up a little bit just because players were aging and we needed to upgrade a couple guys. You know, moving Luis Hill to the bullpen ended up working. Our bullpen was pretty strong too. Hey, that was a pretty good rebuild. 3 World Series. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like button down below. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and enjoyed the content. And if you're looking for some more rebuild content, check out this one on screen now. I think you'll really enjoy it. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.